Hello, everyone. This is Demetris Curry coming to you with what Financially Fit Fridays. Guys, I'm so excited about today's Financially Fit Friday. But before we get too deep into where we're going to be talking about today and who we have here as a special guest, first and foremost, let's say thank you so much for being here with us. This is yet another Financially Fit Friday where we talk about what's important to you in your finances. Where do you need to start into building your legacy and to also protect what you've worked so hard for over these years? If you've been following us on Financially Fit Fridays, make sure that you go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and share today's show. Oh my goodness, you're not going to believe some of the information that you're going to share. We're going to jump into it. Right now, if you have a couple seconds, I'm going to give you just a couple seconds to get you a pen and paper handy because you're going to have none other than Mr. Don Daniel, founder, CEO, and I'm going to tell you, amazing leadership, amazing motivator, and talking about a real teacher in financial literacy. And he's going to jump into debt elimination and how to make sure you cancel out that interest in that mortgage and other things that you're paying high interest into. So I'm not going to stay too long on what we have done so far already. You've already seen what we do in the areas of credit repair and areas of talking about your strategy and financial literacy. But today we're focusing on mortgages. So let's talk about it. Demetris Curry, you know me as a commercial real estate lending broker, also generational wealth strategist, where we handle retirements, life insurance, things of that nature. But I also have 30 years of experience in the mortgage industry as a loan originator, as a person that was an auditor for banks for many, many years. And guess what? I get a chance to be on stage once again with my friend, Mr. Don Daniel. This is not the first time we've done this together. We've done this together back in 2019, 2020, and we came and we showed people about that mortgage thing and what it's all about. But we get a chance to do it again, and I'm so excited to have him with us, guys. Listen, I can't even wait no longer. I just got to bring him on. Mr. Don Daniel, are you there?
I am, Demetrius. I'm here. Finally, I've been anticipating this moment.
So glad to have you back, man. How have you been?
Listen, we have been very, very well. Our business is doing great. We're sharing our message all over the country and around the world. People need to know what we know. So I'm glad you're bringing this to your audience because they deserve to know this. I mean, some truths about lending that have not been generally shared since 1936.
Ooh, you talking real talk now. Let's dig into it. You talking real talk. Listen, Don, you and I both know
Mhm.
that there are two industries in this world that will always be in our pocket in some form or fashion.
Yeah,
And that is that healthcare industry and that financial industry, right?
that's
They're
correct.
always going to be somewhere present. But what we want to do is, even though we're using those industries to live life and life more abundantly, how to do it smarter, how to actually take away some of the stuff we don't need to have in there.
Mhm.
Get a little bit more financial literate on what it means to do this versus that, and save us a dollar. Don't you agree?
I most certainly agree. We have to make sure that we're spending and purchasing wisely. We want to get as much as we can for as little as we can. In other words, some people call it, how do I get a bigger bang for my buck?
There you go. Absolutely, absolutely. Before we go too far into getting this, because I want you to bring out some stuff and we're going to share some screens. Listen, I told you, audience, get your pencil and your paper handy, okay? Because not only are we going to talk about that, we're going to also talk about these camps that he's doing and how he's showing people how to do it one to one personally in their own finances. But can I draw back just for a minute and bring back a blast from the past, Don? Can I
Go
can I
ahead.
bring can I bring up this book right here? The Peel Method, sir. Hello. Listen, best-selling author on Amazon. If you do not have it, go get it. I just gotta put that plug in there. I know you weren't expecting that, but I gotta get that plug in there for you, okay?
Oh, and listen, thank you. I appreciate that. I was, the book has found a new resurgence since we have, collaborating with, other influencers such as yourself. And
Mm.
things have really, really taken off here recently. And people have found this book again. So, I mean, if you were to go to Amazon right now, it's number three on the bestseller list.
There you go.
Yeah,
Internationally.
come on.
Internationally. And what I love is that, I'm me. Let me say this real quick, guys. I am also a supporter of the peel method. I also use the system. So if that helps any, I want to make sure you guys know. And have been for many, many, many years, many years. So I want to go ahead and give you the opportunity to start talking about mortgages, right? This industry right here. In this particular economic climate, people are trying to figure out how to make their income stretch, how to make it stretch. They're not getting more, like upgrade in their income. They're not getting the big promotions that they used to get. Things are a little bit more stringent. Things have changed a little bit. This is a different economic climate than we're used to, right, Don?
That's
So
correct.
how do we start to look at our finances? And then I know one of the things that we talk about is that savings, right?
Hmm.
Let's start looking at that and give us some beginning tips of where we need to start, and then let's gonna also break into some numbers. That's gonna do that next. But
Okay.
let's look at the starting point. Where do we begin?
Mindset. Okay. Mindset. You see, if we approach our finances from the standpoint of affordability,
Mm,
how can I afford it? That's a mindset that will keep you broke forever. Okay. We want to approach our finances from the mindset of strategy. How do I go from being a borrower to a strategist? How do I borrow this money to do what I need to do and pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible so I
mm,
can use their money for pennies on the dollar, and therefore I'll have more money to get my house, my education, my car, and to fund my retirement because I'm not giving all that interest to the bank.
hello? Not get because they're gonna get their part, right?
Yes, they're going to get their part, but listen, we are paying 75% more interest than we need to, Demetrius. People don't like to pay taxes, and there are a bunch of tax strategies, but we're going to pay far more interest than we'll ever pay in taxes. And there
Mm,
are no interest saving strategies that actually work. You see, um, I have autism spectrum disorder. And when I look at things, I see things in pictures and patterns. So when I see an amortization schedule, that same schedule that figures out how much money the bank is going to siphon out of your legacy,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I see it a different way. And I see it that we can use the same system to work for us. We don't need to care about interest rate. What we need to care about is the interest cost that generates and how we can mitigate interest cost using the same system.
Stay right there. Stay right there, because that's where it all begins.
Yes.
It's that mitigating of that interest. And like I told you, they're going to get their money anyway. As a commercial real estate lending broker, you and I know this already. That when
Yes.
you do a brand new deal, it's already set in an amortization schedule. I can
Hmm.
recall, even as a loan originator and even as an auditor, looking at the amortization schedule and things like that. It's not something that we as financial strategy people are taught to teach.
Yeah.
We're not taught to teach that.
No. The thing is, especially for people who are real estate and real estate investors, as long as the property is cash flowing, what they look at as far as the interest is concerned, it is the cost of doing business. I help right here in Huntsville, Alabama. I help a real estate investor that has two buildings, $2.2 million in commercial real estate. And listen, this thing, it makes over 58. These two buildings make over $58,000 a month,
A month.
and the mortgage payments are only $14,000 a month on both buildings. So he's doing quite well. But
Yes.
when he found out he can cut his interest cost by 75% as well
Mm.
on both buildings and not have to pay all of that interest, and it doesn't impede his ability to continue to invest. I'm telling you, you can pay less interest. And now he can cash out refi 10 to 15 to 20 years sooner to redeploy that cash. We're talking about serious strategies here.
So Don, what you're telling me is that he can keep his payments the same.
Oh, yes. Payments stay the same.
Payments stay the same. He's not increasing the payment.
No,
He is just changing how he's doing things.
changing how he's doing things because we're telling him how to use all of his cash, some of that dormant cash, all right? And listen, how can we use that to mitigate interest cost? And I'm going to show you a little bit about that today. Some things that people don't know. You know that, see, PIL stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. But very
Mm.
few people know the power and the benefit of prepayment. Oh my gosh,
I
that's where
listen.
this all starts.
I know you listen. You and I had this conversation what about 8 years ago,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
and it's been a wonderful thing. I thank you, sir. I thank you, sir. Let's look at something. Let's share your screen. Let's look at some numbers if you don't mind,
Go right
and,
ahead.
and let's throw some numbers out so people can see. Get your pen and paper handy, guys. This is a teachable moment. This is what Financially Fit Friday is all about. This is why we asked Mr. Don to be here with us. Okay, so let's go ahead and get him to share the screen here, and I'm going to mute Don so you can take it over and tell us what we're looking at.
Okay, what we're looking at is an amortization schedule for $400,000. The median home price right now across the country is about $400,000. I have a 7% interest rate on here, and I have it on there for a reason. A lot of people are sitting back waiting for interest rates to come down. And the way that amortization schedules actually work so that you can save interest, I'm telling you the truth as I'm sitting here. The higher interest rates work better for saving you money and paying off the loan early than the lower interest rates. And I'm going to prove it to you by showing you the numbers. Okay. So we have a 7% interest rate on this. The payment is $2,661.21. Now, here is where we get into understanding the difference between interest rate and interest cost. The interest rate is 7%, okay? But the interest cost on this loan, if you keep it for 30 years, is $558,035.60. I, I ask all the time, does this number look like 7% of this number? And the answer is no. It is actually 139.5%. Well, Don, what if I got a 3% loan? Well, all 3% loans are 51% loans. Okay? It is not about interest rate, ladies and gentlemen. It's about interest cost, understanding it, and how to give the bank back their money and make it impossible for them to charge you all of that interest. So now I'm just going to go into a little bit of mortgage mechanics. This is understanding how mortgages work. This is not what we do at the pill method, but we have to understand the mortgage mechanics first. All right. So when we make a mortgage payment here, $327.88 goes to principal, 23.33 goes to interest. And what that really means is over 80% of your money gets kept by the bank, and less than 20% of your money is actually paying down your mortgage. Okay. And this is called their leverage. Okay. I pay all of this money. And it says, now, if 80% of my money is interest and only 20% or less is paying down my loan. What is that like? Well, listen, some of you may have a swimming pool, okay? And think of it this way. I have a swimming pool, and in some communities, the fire department will come and fill up your pool, okay? But but think of it this way: you don't have the fire department. You got a garden hose and a 5 gallon bucket. You fill up your 5 gallon bucket with the garden hose. And by the time you get your bucket over to the pool, 80% of that water has leaked out. How many more trips are you going to have to take to that pool that way to fill it up? That's what they're asking us to do with these small amounts of money out of all the money we pay to pay off a mortgage. In fact, in the first year, this column adds up all the principal payments, okay? Cumulative principal, and this column adds up all the interest. So in the first year on this mortgage, it's only paid down by $4,063.23. But look what the bank gets, $27,871.29. Ladies and gentlemen, how would you like to be able to turn that around? I'm going to teach you just a little bit about how to read this thing and make it work for you. Okay? Now, if you want to know more about this, just go by the Pill Method YouTube channel so that you can see more in detail. Okay? Because I may be talking too fast here. But anyway, so when you listen, let's pretend that this is January's payment. January's payment has been done. And as far as we know, this would be February's principal payment. And most people know that they can put extra on their mortgage payment anytime, but they have no idea how much interest they've saved because the bank has never sent you a receipt. Thank you for this extra payment. Here's how much interest you saved. And you know what's worse than that?
What's
We've
that?
never even bothered to ask.
We don't ask that question.
No, we don't ask how much time we just saved by giving them that extra $100 or extra $300. We don't ask how much interest we saved because if we did, we would be shocked. And so we're conditioned not to ask. Just give them the money and keep on pushing. Okay? So now let's pretend again we've made January's payment. This would be February's principal payment, 329.79. Do we have to wait till February to give the bank this $329.79? The answer is no. If you had it, you could give it to the bank in January. But because you paid interest in January already, they have not calculated February's principal yet. They need a month in balance to do that. So if you give them this 329.79, it goes all the way to principal, and you're paid down to line 2 on your amortization schedule right here. And that means they have to use this number to calculate the next interest payment, which puts you on line 3 of the schedule. What just happened? For $329.79, payment number 1 is now touching payment number 2. Monthly payment number 2 is gone for $329.79. And look at this. You see this interest? $2,331.42 on line 2? That has been eliminated. That's interest you will never have to pay.
So let me make sure I understand this.
Okay.
So we're on line one.
Yes.
We're making payment of 327.88 as part of our principal.
Right.
Okay. And then we decide we want to pay the extra principal that would have been on line two
Yes.
and just add it into our maybe our line one payment.
Mm-hmm.
And then with us doing that, the way the system reads, the way that the interest reads, is that it'll skip the line two and it'll go straight to the line three.
Exactly. Exactly.
I like
That's how it works. Okay. So now you might wonder, well, why does that even matter? Can you see my calculator?
I cannot see your calculator. Let's see if we can find it. I
Okay.
do I
No,
do not.
I mean I should have it right on the screen. You don't see it? Okay,
No,
that's all right.
I see the
That's all right.
amortization schedule.
That's all right. I will explain what's happening and people can do it for themselves. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
This is how the bank does this. Okay. This is how they do it. They take your interest rate, which is in this case 7%. And you all who are watching this, pull out your calculators right now. All right. And you'll be able to do this with me. You pull out your calculator and you're going to do 7% in your calculator, which is 0.07. And then you divide 0.07 by 12. When you do that, you'll get 0.0058 and a bunch of threes.
Correct.
That's the number that they use each and every month. Okay? So if they use that to produce how much interest I pay each month. So if I pay this amount in January and I give them this amount also in January, they have to subtract that from what I owe, which puts me down here at 399,342.33. So if I take my if I put that in my calculator and multiply the number I have there by 399,342 and 33 cents, I get what?
The interest amount.
Yes, two 2,329.50, which is on this line, not line two. We skip right over line two and go
That's
right.
correct.
That's how they do it. So what they're doing is they're taking 1/12 of the interest rate, multiplying it by the unpaid balance 360 times. It's not one mortgage, ladies and gentlemen. They turn it into 360 separate ones. That's why it's so expensive. So
Wow.
we turn the thing around and give them money when they're not expecting it. You see, over here, the bank just bought all your equity and you're buying it back. You're buying it back. So I just bought $327 of my equity back, but I had to give them $23.33 to buy it. If I give them the money early, I get my equity for free because I don't have to pay them the interest to get it. How about that? Oh my goodness.
You know,
I
I
get
get,
I
I
get
get,
so excited.
I get tickled. I'm finna say I get tickled. I get because you know I love numbers. So
Yeah. Can I show you something even more exciting?
yes, yes.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying everybody should do this because you can prepay $1, you can prepay $5. I'm just picking these numbers on the amortization schedule because it makes it easy to see. So the total interest for the year, the total principal for the year is $4,063.23. My question would be, do I have to give them this much money in 12 monthly installments? Or if I had it, could I give that to them on line one and be paid down to line 12 in 1 month? Because if I subtract this from $400,000, I get exactly 395,936.77. I'm there in 1 month. And then what would happen to all the interest payments between line 2 and line 12? Do you understand that the banking system loves it when you pay them on time so that they can charge you this much interest to get your equity? You can give this towards your equity in 1 month if you had it, be paid down to here in 1 month, and all it costs you in interest is 2,333.33 instead of 27,871.29. And I think I should be able to hear across America, amen, hallelujahs.
Listen, don't you start no mess, Don. Don, listen here. Listen. I gotta say that one more time. Can I echo that?
Go right ahead.
I echo in that because I do it. And
Yeah,
it's the amazing thing of what you just mentioned there. So if you have, let's say we have some lump sum.
yeah,
put to the side, little savings.
Hmm.
And we want to put something or something that's not really making much money, but we want to save some interest later.
Right.
It's worth, okay,
Hmm.
that 327 principal and times 12 years up to 4,063.23. It
Hmm.
is worth, okay, getting rid of all of that interest in between,
Yep.
okay, $25,000 worth,
Hmm.
okay, to get to that bottom line on number 12. We're just talking about year 12. We ain't even got too far
No,
in.
no, this is month 12.
Month, we're talking about 12 monthly payments.
Yes.
Look at that.
So
Isn't that powerful?
I want to ask you something, Demetris. If I give them this much money and I pay down to line 12, that would be, I did all of this in January. My next mortgage payment for February will be on what line of this schedule?
Mm,
13.
line 13.
So payment number one is now touching payment number 13 because I gave them the $4,000 early.
Mm. That is
My.
amazing. That is
My.
amazing. So I took the opportunity. I hope you guys are getting this. I hope that you are writing this down, pulling out your amortization schedules at home. You know, you have this same schedule that was given to you when you first bought your mortgage, okay? And you can go out there in your websites most times and look and see what your old paperwork was and pull up that old amortization schedule and see where you are on what line. And
Hmm.
you can start that today, right, Don? Can't they start that today?
They can start it today, but if they need help, we will help them, and we will guarantee that they will pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible because the average family has 13 different debts, not just the mortgage. Okay? They
Mm.
pay 35 to 39% of their income just on interest alone. So what if you had a system whereby the program said pay this much money in this month on this day of the month to this particular loan, and by following our system and the prompts, you could be out of debt in 7 to 9 years on all of it, saving 75% of the interest that the bank wanted, and you can now invest for yourself. Do you know where they might be able to invest that kind of money?
Ooh, yes, you know I know they can invest it. You call Demetris Curry of here in Inspire for Greatness. We know exactly where to put your money at and save that principal. Hello, hello. But
Hello.
that is amazing. That is amazing right there, Don. Listen, what about person that has like high interest credit cards? Would this work the same for the credit cards?
Yes, it would work the same for the credit cards, but high interest credit cards aren't as damaging as you might think
Okay, tell
because we get bad information. Practically everything you've ever learned about debt is wrong. All the experts are giving us information, and I'm going to give you an example of that right now.
okay.
Okay? So we're going to do this. I'm going to bring up right next door. Okay? We're going to bring up a $10,000 balance on a credit card. Okay? At 27%. Oh my goodness. All credit cards are amortized over 240 months. Okay? So, every expert that I've ever heard would say you have a 7% mortgage, but you have a 27% credit card. That credit card is killing you. Okay? So, if you have the money, pay that credit card off as soon as possible. And if you have $10,000, pay the credit card off now so you don't have to pay that credit card interest. Can I show you how much interest you would save by paying off that credit card today? May I show you?
Yes.
Okay, let's calculate it and let's see. Let's look at the first. Oh, the interest only payment is $225. You pay that credit card off today, even at 27%, you just saved yourself $225. But if I put $10,000 on this mortgage, look at cumulative principal. Let me go down to $10,000. Look what I do to this loan. I knock off almost 2.5 years off this loan and
Mm.
save $64,572.48 in interest. Stop listening to the experts and call the pill method.
And this is the thing. When you don't know that you're doing the wrong direction because of what traditional training is,
Hmm.
then you're going to follow that, right? And so that's one of the things that we talk about quite a bit. Let's compare apples to apples.
Right.
So when you can put them side by side, apples to apples, you can see that if you put your money in one spot, the cost savings later on
Hmm.
this thing is much higher than
Right.
what you would anticipated putting it somewhere else.
So somebody might see this and say, Don Daniel said, don't pay off your credit cards. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying being strategic about where you put your money and thinking that the credit card cost is more than the interest cost on your mortgage. You have to do this strategically. There's times to pay down the credit card, there's times to put money on the mortgage. So you want to know when is the best time and the best amount to put on both so you can mitigate interest cost on both.
Mm.
So we will pay off the credit card, but we will not just focus there and continue to pay two $2,200 in interest on our mortgage, thinking we're feeling good about paying off the credit card, which is relatively small interest costs compared to the mortgage.
Because what you have to think about is this: you're talking about a smaller credit card balance
Yes,
with a high interest rate.
right.
But then you're looking at a large balance with supposedly a much smaller interest rate,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's, hey, I'm with you.
Listen, you know, Demetrius, listen, you know a little bit about investing, don't you? Little bit. That's your thing. Do you know? Can I just do some other numbers for you right here?
You got the floor.
Okay. If we prepay this, okay, the $4,000 and save this much interest, have you ever heard of a penny saved is a penny earned?
Mm.
I happen to do the ROI on paying this forward and saving this. The return on investment is 529%.
Wow.
I know people that love looking at their money in the bank, okay, making 1/10 of 1%. I know real estate investors that say, I'm not going to put anything extra on my mortgage because I'm making 10, 15, 20% cash on cash return. But what they're not looking at is what that money could do for them if they took some, like a real estate investor, and they have a reserve fund
Mm-hmm.
for repairs and maintenance sitting in the
Mm-hmm.
bank doing nothing. They
Mm-hmm.
could, if what if they had this mortgage and they took $4,000 out of the reserve fund, put it on this mortgage, save 25 grand? That is a 529% return on your money, real estate investors.
That's right. Exactly.
You better call too.
That's exactly.
Okay. It's not,
Exactly.
it's not enough to get a good rate. It's not enough to cash flow every month greatly, but giving the bank all of that money. And when I break it down like this for a real estate investor, and I
Mm-hmm.
show them, if you've just received $32,000 from your tenant, that's this plus this, over $32,000, and all you got out of it was $4,000 applied to principal to grow your equity,
Mm.
that's not a very good trade. Okay? So,
Absolutely.
real estate investors start paying attention to how much interest you're paying and add this as a metric. Okay? You know what cap rate is, you know how to figure your cap rate. You also need to figure out how much interest it costs to get you your equity in your property
Mm.
and subtract the interest cost as you would any other expense when you're figuring your profits.
And see, your system helps with that though. It's
Yes.
more like it's like if you can't figure those things out and you're not a person of numbers and stuff like that, the way that your system works
Yes.
allows you to just embed in the basic information, principal balance, when it's due, interest rate, et cetera, and it shoots out a plan.
Yes. So our program is a cloud-based AI computing program that is dynamic. So you update it with live information on how much money is coming in, revenue, and how much money is going out, expenses. And the program will then prompt you and say, do this with this much money in this month on this day of the month. Just follow it like financial GPS, and it's guaranteed to save you the maximum amount of interest that's mathematically possible for you, for the homeowner, for the church building that has a mortgage on it, for
Mm.
real estate investors, big or small. Cut your interest cost by 75%. Even churches can pay off their big mortgages in 5 to 7 years without extra giving from the members.
Now you know that's a word right there.
I know your mom's shouting.
You know I'm finna say that. That's a word, right? That's a rhema word right there. Don't start no mess up. This is why I can be playing with you. Listen. Now we do have a question. Can we get a question in?
Please do.
The question is, does it matter when you make the extra payment during the month after making your regular payment?
If you are doing this on your own, the answer is no. If you're following our program, the program is going to tell you exactly when to do it and exactly and what amounts. And it does then matter when it happens. If somebody wants to call me up and say, Don, when is that day? I would have to say, I don't know, because to optimize something is always a moving target. How
Mm.
much money have you made? How much money has been paid out? What day were your bills paid? And then the program takes all of that data and then comes up with the right answer. And you say, well, can it be that hard? If you have 5 variables that you have to deal with, that's 120 different ways to do something.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is optimum. If you have, and we've identified over 10 variables, if you have 10 variables, that's 3.6 million different permutations or different ways of doing something. And one of them is the most optimum. And so, what do you want? Do you want to save some interest, or do you want to save the maximum amount of interest that's mathematically possible? Can a person pay off all of their loans early all by themselves? The answer is yes. But they will have no idea how much interest they paid to do it or how much interest they could have saved.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for answering that question, because I'm sure a lot of people are asking that same thing. Say, well, I pay my stuff on the first of the month of every month.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, if I can start throwing in a couple of extra principles, when should I do it? Right?
Right. But just in general, as long if you have an extra payment, as long as you make that extra payment before the next payment is due. In other words, if the month you're in has 31 days, you can make your regular mortgage payment on the first. You could make your extra principal payment on the 31st, and
Mm,
you still cut out that interest, but be ready to make your full mortgage payment on the first of the next month. You do not cut those out. Okay.
gotcha. I love that. I love that. Don, you're giving so many good nuggets. Oh my goodness. You have a plan going on. You just did this workshop last month. You're doing
Yep.
another one next month. You know, tell us about the workshops that you've been doing and the challenges that you've been presenting to your followers, and what's been, especially the one you just did last month. It was amazing. Tell us about it.
It's called the Ultimate Debt Elimination Challenge. And it is coming up next month, on, I think it's the 22nd through the 25th. We do it 3 nights, okay? 3 nights. And we give such amazing information. We challenge everything you ever thought you knew about debt, and we're going to replace it with the right way of handling it, all because God has gifted me to look at this amortization schedule a different way. And we're going to be teaching it to you. And there is just so much that's going to be packed in to those 3 nights. Okay.
Wow.
So it is great. I don't know if you have a graphic on it or not, but it is wonderful. It's going to be wonderful.
Yes. Yes. We're going to actually put that link in here too for it as well. We're
Hmm.
going to put that link in here too so they can join the challenge. Join
Yes.
the challenge, get in on there. Look at that. Let me see if you got that already squared up. Let me see. You have that page already, Don. If you
Okay.
would share that page from your screen, since you have the share screen up,
Okay.
that would be fantastic so they can see it. And there it is. There's the link. We're putting the link in at the YouTube channel. Make sure that you guys are going to that YouTube channel and getting that link for that challenge.
Yes.
Sign up for that challenge right there. But we want to show you what the page looks like
So
too.
that link is going to be in your description too, isn't it?
And it is.
Okay. All
It
right. So this
is.
is what it looks like.
Okay.
There it is.
I love it.
Okay. And so you get that link and sign yourself up for 3 nights. And there it is. So we have 38 days left before the next one.
Now go back a little bit now, Don. Go
Yeah.
back. You don't just slide by. Go back just a little bit more. Just right there, right there, right there. How you just gonna slide by being on Forbes and the New York Times and Inc. magazine? How you just gonna slide by being in Wall Street Journal? Here's the thing, right? You don't know the royalty that you have here bestowed before you.
This, I have to tell the truth and why you see all of this. Listen, in any of these publications, if you get even a mention, even somebody is trying to say your stuff doesn't work in any of you can say I was in them. I don't have to say what they said about me. I could just say I was in there.
That is so true. I had a young lady tell me. She said, "Oh, I saw you on the black magazine and all this other stuff."
Yeah.
I said, "Mm-hmm. I take it. I take it. They loved it.
All
Hello."
right. So
I
yeah,
love it. Great,
yeah.
great stuff. Great stuff. Let's talk about day one, two, and three. What's going
Okay.
on?
So what we're doing is on day one, we're going to talk about how the mortgage system was never built for us. It was never built for us. Okay.
Right.
It was built for so in the 1930s, all right, coming out of the Depression, 1936 was the first self-amortizing mortgage. It was a 20-year loan. The government had bought up all these bad mortgages where people had lost their homes and businesses and on farms. And so the government buys up the mortgages and then reissues them back to the people with 20-year amortized loans. Because prior to that, they didn't have amortized loans like they have today. They were paying interest only loans. Okay. And that's why they lost their homes. So the government says, oh, we're going to give you a new perspective and give you a loan where you are making payments, but some of your payment goes to principal. So you're actually done with the loan in 20 years. But then the government says, we don't want to be in the lending business. What did they do? They sold all of those loans to investors. And investors are interested in only one thing, getting their money back. That's why we have PMI today. Okay. And making interest for 20 years. That's what they were interested in, making interest for 20 years. And now we have 30-year mortgages. So, my question to you, for your entire audience, if everybody knew what I just taught you today, would these loans be attractive to investors today? Would they buy these mortgages if they knew that you could prepay and kill all of that interest just like that? This is why how mortgages actually work is not taught at any level of financial education, not even at the Wharton School of Business. What you've learned here today, ladies and gentlemen, it is not taught in any school in America.
Why is it not taught in any school in America, Don?
Well, I tell you, because the banking system, you take a look at Chase Bank, um, Wells Fargo, Regions, you name it. A lot of these banks don't make a dime off of mortgage interest. They make their money when you close on a mortgage. Don't you get a notice within a week or two that your mortgage has been sold?
You do?
Okay. So the banks make their money when they sell your mortgage to an investor.
Mm.
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 So if everybody knew that you can take just a few dollars and save thousands of dollars in interest, these investment tools, and you want to look up mortgage-backed securities, MBS. I mean, you just do a Google search on mortgage-backed securities,
I'm with you.
okay? And when you do that, do an additional search on how to manage prepayment costs, how to manage prepayments. There are thousands upon thousands of articles and math that will spin your head
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
how to manage
Mm-hmm.
prepayment risk.
Yeah.
They are more afraid of prepayment than they are of default.
Mm.
This is why it is not taught what happens when you prepay. We know we can prepay, but we're taught to look at putting $300 on a $400,000 mortgage and see what it does to the principal balance, and we get discouraged. But if I knew my $300 was saving me 2 grand in interest, oh, that's a different story altogether.
Yes, it is.
That's why it's not taught, ladies and gentlemen. That's
Mhm.
why your real estate agent doesn't know it. Your loan officer doesn't know how a mortgage works. Your CPA does not know how a mortgage works. You could give your CPA right now $500 and say, how much interest did you just save if you put that towards principal? Your CPA does not know. Not because they're not intelligent, it's because they didn't have the class.
Yeah, and they don't teach that.
They don't teach it.
They don't. I mean, I'm a person that can truly say that because I've been in the industry for 30 years.
Hmm.
I was a loan originator. I was an auditor. I actually did all of that. I was top sales. I'm one of the top agents to do over trillions of dollars for Fortune 500 companies
Hmm.
for 15 years straight. And I
Mm.
can tell you, with all of the trainings that we've had in the industry, the interest cancellation of mortgages is not part of the many, 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 many trainings that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is very, very information. Now we do have a question here. We have another question.
Yes.
It says here, based on your example of the amortization schedule, if you make what $50,000
Hmm.
payment and
Yeah.
ask the bank to recast the mortgage, what would be the new payment?
Ah,
Will you recommend recasting the mortgage?
well, here's the thing. Listen, that's a very interesting question. And the first answer I give my clients is this: I don't know. Let's run the numbers and let the numbers tell you if that's something you want to do. Because once you pay that thing down, you can you can recast the loan. Now, the way that the loan is configured after that, is it conducive to interest cancellation? What happens to the principal payment? You see, when you control the principal payment, you control the loan.
Mm,
Control the principal payment and you control the loan. And
yeah.
I'll give you an example of this. Okay. Here is another mortgage at 5%. So if you have the same mortgage at 5%, okay, um, and somebody offered you either 7% or 5%,
Mm-hmm.
which one would you all choose? Everybody out there says, I choose the 5%.
Of
Look at
course.
my payment. It's lower. Total interest on that is down to 373. Okay. It's not, it's not up here where it's 558. All right. My payment is much higher over here on the 7%. But I need you to take a look at one thing. Look at the principal payment on the first principal payment on the 7-year mortgage and look at the first principal payment on the 5% mortgage. It's higher. You
Mm.
want to get rid of line 2, you have to come up with more money. Look at that, to get rid of the principal payment. Most people don't know that. They're fighting to get a lower interest cost. Okay? So, and I need you to take a look at this. It takes about $4,000 to kill 1 year on a mortgage if you on a 7% mortgage if you prepay it. It takes almost $6,000 on the 5%. So I'm looking at the principal payment because that matters. If by recasting your loan, your principal payment is conducive to prepayment, there you go. But you have to run the numbers first. So
Mm-hmm.
I would never, ever give a blanket statement and say, yes, I would prepay. There are people out there that will do that. But I would run away as fast as I could with anybody who you gave a question like that and they gave you a pat answer.
Mm.
Run the numbers and see if it works for you.
Ex-
And we're experts at running those numbers for you.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why we say, hey, when you get those questions, we do the same thing. When you get those questions, let's look at the numbers, put them side by side. Let's do an apple comparison. And let's just really lean in on the numbers and what it says.
Yes, I stay away from giving advice like that, like everybody should stay away from giving marriage advice to your friends because they're going to say, I followed your advice. Now look what you've done. No, we don't give advice. We let you see what's happening.
That's right. Only stick to the facts. Only stick to the facts. Listen, we're not putting no type of opinions in there, okay? No type of
No,
opinions. Oh my goodness.
show the numbers.
Show the numbers. Don, we are adding in we have your link here at the bottom. We want to
Yeah,
make sure people are getting in on your challenge. You
yes.
said it's going to be June 22nd
Hmm.
through the 25th, correct?
That is correct. Okay.
Going to be on your challenge. Want to make sure here's the link, guys. We're putting it inside the description of the YouTube channel. It is also going to be in the description of these posts in media. Make sure you click on it. Get your seat. Get
Yes.
your seat for this challenge. He's also going to do a savings analysis as part of the whole process. Hello, guys.
Right.
I'm telling you, he's gonna. You don't want to know about that savings analysis. It's gonna be like, whoa, you don't even know what you're missing on that. So he's gonna show that. He's going to get really, really in depth on that. So make sure you get a part of that challenge. And here it is:
Hmm.
what to do, where to start,
Yeah.
and how to take over the finances in a whole nother realm is what
Yes.
you're showing right here, Don. That's what
Yes.
you're showing.
Right here, June 22nd through 24th. We did one. We just actually finished up one last night, and it was fantastic. And part of the homework is actually how to fill out and do a request for a savings report. You get a 2-page report, and it tells you the month, day, and year you will be debt free and how much interest you can save. And you know what else, Demetris?
What you got?
We guarantee our results for life.
What you say?
We're the only company in the world that guarantees if you follow our system, we guarantee your results
Okay, I
or
love
or money back
or money back.
and it's lifetime.
And
If you pay off house number 1 and you put in house number 2, we have to guarantee that one too. Come on.
there you go, Don.
Listen, it's just math. You follow the math, you can't lose. All right?
You follow the math, you cannot lose,
Well,
guys.
listen, somebody might say, "Well, is that true?" Yeah, if you Google pill method, okay, you Google pill method, and you'll find that we're with the Better Business Bureau. We have an A+ rating, and in 20 years, no complaints.
There
What's there
you
to complain about? It either works or you get your money back.
There you go. There you go. And A plus rating people partner with A plus people. Hello, that's why you on
Hello.
the show. That's why you on the show, because we fall in line with A plus people. Hello.
Come on.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Don. You always bring the fire. You always bring the fire, man. What am I gonna do with you? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for taking the time to show us about this. And we're gonna make sure we continue to put it into loop. You're gonna have a whole lot of more information.
Yes.
Don't forget to go in and look at the YouTube channel here. Get on there. Make sure you are following his YouTube channel. Make sure you are getting more nuggets, because you also teach on this on a weekly basis. So make sure they're getting that information. Don't miss out on that data, guys. This
Yes.
is the opportunity to really keep yourself accountable for what you're saying you want to do in your finances, right? So we have had the prosperity man of all ages here
Oh
with us
Lord.
today. Hello.
Oh man.
Listen, my mom has always told me to give person their flowers while they're here. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
giving you your flowers while you
Okay.
are here. That's how we do it over here at Financially Fit Friday. So,
I
guys,
will accept them.
thank you so much for being here with us, Don. Listen, guys, I know that this has been an amazing, amazing day for you today. In Financially Fit Friday, we didn't know that Don was gonna come show up and show out. We know he does his thing wherever he goes, but the information that he has shared with us today on getting your finances in order with your mortgage, how to eliminate that interest inside of that mortgage and other debts. But more importantly, the things that's going to be a huge, huge cost savings for you in the future. He just laid down the challenge. He just gave you all the data, right? Make sure you are getting in on his YouTube channel. Make sure you are following him. Go to our YouTube channel and get that link to join the challenge June 22nd through the 24th, okay? To make sure we get you started in saving some of this interest and get you to a whole nother level in your finances. Thank you once again for being here with us on Financially Fit Fridays. I can't wait to see you next week. I am Demetris Curry, here, CEO, President of Inspire for Greatness. There's more to come. See you soon.